It has been raging in the world for 8 years. A semantic virus, a mysterious epidemic transmitted to people through language and speech, driving the victim to madness. The infected person begins to talk nonsense. This is the first and main symptom. Communication channels are paralyzed. A crisis has begun. The long-awaited medicines have not been invented. And the Epidemic Control Department has only tightened the screws. When they announced the creation of safe zones in cities, it became clear to people that the point of no return had been passed, and headphones should be used to protect against infected people. After a while, the department seized all power by creating quarantine zones where people are forcibly sent. Murat, a former Turkish linguist, is the only person who somehow managed to avoid contracting this disease and develop immunity. Murat keeps cassettes with recordings of his voice. On them, he describes his condition. A thin squeak is heard in the ears, and the body twitches. Walking down the street, he sees with her. She doesn't wear headphones and calmly reads a book. Murat would like to approach her, but still just walks away while Sue is watching him. Murat comes to Emel's mother. She asks to go to the store. Before leaving, Murat quickly solves Sudoku. There was a letter in Sue's place, which Murat liked very much. Already in the store, and there was a chatterbox. This is what people are called with a sick virus. Chatterbox. Healthy people ran away, the guards blocked the door, leaving the guy and Murat. If you dive into my tundra, it will just crack and... He gives the boy his headphones and helps him move to a safe area, after which he takes the necessary products and leaves through the back entrance, simultaneously struggling with the symptoms of the disease. Anton, the head of security, hears rumors about the man who saved the boy. Seeing that he is not wearing headphones, the union asks to find out who he is. It turns out that Murat used to often lie in the hospital because of frequent headaches and participated in some projects. The camera clearly shows that Murat's head temperature is higher than standard, and the virus has not captured him. Anton gives the order to catch Murat and find out how his body overcame the virus. People took Murat's headphones, which he gave to the boy. They have an ID on them. It turns out that Murat was in the department for combating the epidemic. Fazili reports that Murat and Özgür are important targets. But he assures everyone that the people working on Project 10 are dead, and everything they saw with the tooth in the cells. A new day comes, and Rif asks Murat to find Özgür. He says that Özgür is dead, although Arif knows that there are rebels in the city, and most likely Özgür is among them. This is indicated by the logo on a certain medicine. Özgür had the same drawing. Tomorrow, Murat leaves a reply letter for Siu and goes to the Earl. He can take them to the department, even help them find Özgür. But you'll have to fork out. A little later, Murat sneaks into the building and enters the system. He tries to erase the video, but his password doesn't work, and he runs away. Anton wasted no time and came to Murat's apartment. Emil attaches a Christmas tree to the window. This helps Murat understand that he can't go home. Due to an unsuccessful mission, Anton enters quarantine zone 4, where a certain girl was waiting for him. And Murat comes to the tattoo parlor. There was a tattoo of Özgür. A scuffle begins. Murat explains that he is not the enemy and shows the pill. The man suggests that medicines are made in zone 6. And Anton listened to Murat's tapes and confirmed his guesses that he was immune. Fasil orders Anton to quit this case or the consequences await him. Murat cannot return home, which is why he sends a message to his mother. They meet at Emel's. Murat asks to take out his jewelry, with which he buys new documents. As for Anton, he's not just looking for Murat. He has a family, but they got sick, and he hopes to create medicines. There are orientations on Murat posted at the checkpoint. He would have been noticed, but it was thanks to the kisses that they passed security. She admits that she is a member of the rebels, and they have been looking for a person with immunity for a long time. Murat doesn't want to cooperate, but he leaves the coordinates on his hand anyway. Fazil did not like that Anton continues to do business and put a nader to him who will secretly monitor him, which is why the authorities found out that Anton visits the same address where he hides his family. The rebels thought that Murat was working for the department and caught him. He was lucky. Sue showed up and explained everything. They will help him find Özgür. Outside, Murat puts Sue's hand on his head and shows how the infected affect his body. and the rebels found out that drugs were being developed near the hotel. The problem is that this is a criminal area. Having no other choice, the couple enters the hotel. There Yasmin exchanges medicines for money. Lazarus is behind the production of the medicine, and Yasmin is the distributor. Catching up with the girl is not given. They are returning to the rebels. There Murat passes an intellectual test, breaking all past records. Tomorrow they still manage to find Yasmin. She calls him hot head. That's what Özgür called him. Yasmin asks a few questions. After getting the right answers, she gives the phone to Agent Cannon, enters Anton's house, and finds his family. Anton catches her and tells her that the management of the fight is a liar. They assured that the children could not get sick, but that's exactly what happened to his son. And then the disease was transmitted to his wife. Anton would like to kill the agent, but he can't. Already at the base, Kana gives away things from Anton's apartment, but does not say anything about the family. Late at night, Anton approaches her with an offer to listen to new evidence. But the voice of the infected was on the tape, which is why the cannon also becomes a chatterbox. Dispute begins among the rebels. They want to come out of the shadows and act more radically. Sue is against it, so they will seem evil in the eyes of ordinary people. Murat distracts the call from Yasmin with a meeting place with Skur. There were new tasks at the right point. Murat decides everything almost instantly and then opens the safe. But there was a task in it too. It was much more complicated. Here even Murat has to think. He also tells Zhu that he used to be an ordinary person, but after treatment, Wuzu got his powers when the answer was found. Yasmin's people check the couple for wiretapping and separate. Murat is taken to a game where healthy people have to get out of the maze and not get infected with the virus. Murat has a choice to meet with Sayur or to save with Bayu. But he chooses the latter. But there were so many patients here that their impact literally heated the brain, and he passed out while Özgür was approaching him. A little later, Murat wakes up and pushes Özgür first of all. He immediately starts laughing because he used a new development that replaces pain with joy. As for Eat, she will have to return to the rebels. But she will have a phone with which they will communicate. Already at the base, she sees that people are secretly communicating using small notes. Sue picks up a piece of paper that had a bunch of symbols on it. Neda investigated the house that Qatar designated and grabbed Anton's family. Murat and Özgür communicate with each other. He is very sorry that he left Murat, but he tried to find him, which was prevented by Fasil. A long time ago, Özgür was a brilliant scientist. The Department for Combating the Epidemic forced him to sign a document, stating that the infected were trying to seize power. The department needed a document for the legal elimination of people. Unbeknownst to them, Gür was working on Project X. In it, a healthy person was exposed to a chatterbox. Fasil found out about it. Attempts to persuade them to start developing a vaccine did not lead to anything, and a fight broke out between them. Fasil was stronger, he knocked out the scientist and set fire to the room. It was on Murat that experiments were conducted, and as you can see, everything turned out. At the same time, Anton enters the hotel where Murat was and shows an orientation. When suddenly an agent enters the building and catches Anton. But the bandits do not touch because they have an agreement on cooperation. Anton is threatened by his family. If he wants them back, he'll have to find him a rat and deliver it to the agency. His partner will be Nadar. Obviously, Anton doesn't like it, but he has no choice. The first thing they do is visit Emel's house. Anton finds a stash, but does not give it away, as he is going to save Murat. Realizing that Anton is going against the management, she tells him a few words that make up the cipher. A new day is coming. Sue showed Murat the note. He solves it quickly. It leads to a specific book and page. Control is searching Area 6. Knowing Murat's signals, Anton hangs a red Christmas tree. It helps him not to get caught. Özgür and Murat leave for the clinic, where they study chatterboxes. A new batch was just brought there, led by a 6th grade chatterbox named Holak. He was one of the first to get sick, but nowadays he can control his voice. It was he who infected Murat, which is why Murat's wife also got sick and chose self-removal. Murat does not want to be experimented on again and dreams of getting rid of his power. But Sue asks him to change his mind. It can save people. The agency is trying to get Emil to tell her where her son is hiding. She doesn't say anything. They give her time to think, or they'll make her talk. Anton sends agents to a false address, and he visits Arif. They are united on mutually beneficial terms. He is given an envelope with the necessary information for Murat, who sees an orientation to his mother. His thoughts are interrupted by the tariff. Inside the envelope was a green Christmas tree and the address for the meeting. In gratitude for the help, Arif receives information about undercover agents who work in his area, and they begin to beat them. Murat sees a vision with a holoc every now and then. That's why he asks the doctor to come to him. The holoc is glad to see him and seems to calm down, closing his eyes, after which they both sit in silence. A little later, Siu tells Murat that the rebels want to make a huge attack on the management, and both go to Anton, who is sorry that he dragged Murat into this case. From the very beginning, he did not want to catch him, but only hoped to find out about the medicine. Thinking that Facilio also needed the medicine, but this is clearly not the case. Murat offers to exchange him for Anton's family. But we need to come up with a plan so that they all remain free. Murat takes a couple of jars from the doctor, after which Anton takes him to the department. Murat asked for water to moisten a rag and covers her nose. The room is filled with gas, knocking out the guards. Murat quickly finds his mother and leaves the room. Nadar wakes up quickly enough and tries to kill the fugitives, but Anton attacks him. Thanks to the gas, everyone in the building has passed out, and the trio calmly leaves. Anton is going to be punished, but their offer is interrupted by a call from Murat. He is ready to give information about a future rebel attack, but not to them, but to Anton. The higher-ranking people in the department order Facile to solve the problem, or he will be changed. They did not take into account that Anton has friends, and they help to exchange notes with Murat. Sue shows him the new rebel code. He looks at it and people come into the room to tear up the paper. But Murat has too good a memory, and he recreates the message. It turns out that the rebels want to free the talkers who are being held in the hospital. Murat calls Fazili with a request to send Anton to him. Fazili orders Anton to kill Murat or his family will be liquidated. And Nadar will keep an eye on Anton. A little later, the couple meets. Murat tells everything he has learned. He gives signals the ferry is rejected. Agents lose their balance, but in a couple of times to escape. And while Nadar was wondering where they had gone, Earl appeared with his men, neutralizing the agents. Already safe, Anton says that his family is not in danger. Facilius caught the wrong talkers. Murat is surprised that he managed to deceive him. Facilius goes to the chatterers in a rage and only now realizes that this is not the right family. He suggests that the leadership allow the rebels to take the first step, otherwise the agency will show itself on the bad side. The rebels think they are being lured into a trap. With her, it is possible to convince the leader to cancel the attack. She gives the go-ahead, but if management attacks them, they will carry out their plan. Before going to bed, Murat gives the flower to the suite, and in the morning, he sees that the holoc repeats his movement. However, when another person came into the room, the holoc returned to the behavior of the chatterbox. The whole city is filled with people. Everything looks peaceful and calm. The leader tells Murat that they canceled the attack, but thinks it's a lie. In reality, she really wanted to cancel everything. But the other rebels were against it and are not going to execute the order that she sends to Murat. They are immediately intercepted by agents and taken to the abandoned. They were lucky it was Anton. Fazilia transfers control of the local base to another person who wants to continue the 10 project. And as soon as he leaves for the city, an explosion occurs. With this action, he compromised the rebels and killed the people supporting Project X. His powers are immediately returned to him. Murat wants to know Atu from Gür exactly how the experiments took place. However, he does not know why Murat survived. There were other people who went through the same experiments, but got infected. Perhaps Murat has special genes. A new day is coming, and additional soldiers are coming to the city to suppress the rebels, who are trying to figure out what to do now. Suddenly, soldiers burst into the base. Murat, Arif, and Su are running away. A soldier bumps into them in an alley. He shoots Arif. Murat takes away the weapon and chases the soldier away. The wounded Arif is taken to the hospital, where his wounds are treated. Murat approaches Haluk. Sadness appears on his face, and at this time, Arif dies. This was the last straw. Now Murat wants to fight the management. But first you need to sit on the bottom. Murat suggests Tobur to unite with him, but he does not know what to say to him. Agents break into the hospital. There was no one there, including Haluk. The group did not have time to leave. Their car is stopped by soldiers. However, Haluka says just one word, and they turn into chatterboxes, and they were wearing headphones. The series ends with a scene where Murat notices a bunch of missed calls on Sue's phone. He picks up the phone and hears Vasily.